Hello and welcome to my final league match against singletee. This is the feature game because it was the closest game that we played, featured the most amount of decisions, some of which I will share with you. Let's have a look at the kingdom now. We have plus actions from Landing Party and from Herald. We have plus cards from Destria, from Herald and from Artist. We have plus buy only from Cauldron. We have gain from Upgrade, Vampire and Expand. And we have trashing from Upgrade, Vampire, and Expand. My first thought looking at this kingdom was that Populate looks amazing here. Populate puts one of every action card into your deck, and I will happily take all of them. Gives you extra draw, and it gives you extra focal points. Upgrade gains, expand gains. It does, however, miss on the Cauldron and the Vampire gains, but we can get those along the way. Note that Populate costs 10. These are among the more expensive cards in the game. You do have to think about how am I getting to 10. Am I going to get there on a 5 card hand? If so, I need to put a lot of gold in my deck. That's 3 gold and a silver on a 5 card hand will do that. Or am I going to do it with draw? What cards in the kingdom are available for me to get to 10? Here, there's Cargo Ship, there's Oasis, there's a bit of trashing around. Destria will draw for you. So I'm going to go that route because it also fits in with the action dump that comes with the Populate later on. Let's see how we both start off this game. My opponent starts off and they start with a 3-4. On 3, they go for a cargo ship, which makes sense. On 4, I go for a cargo ship. However, immediately I regret this as my opponent picks up a landing party on 4. I think landing party and cargo ship is superior to my cargo ship and silver opening. I bought the silver with an eye towards Populate, with an eye towards getting to 5 quickly as well, as the immediate reason for the silver. Later reason is the Populate. Immediately I want 5 for Upgrade and for Vampire. However, I think landing party, drawing 2 cards, does the same thing as a silver. And there's a chance in the early game that landing party goes back on top of your deck. You get to use it maybe another time. My opponent plays their landing party and sure enough they get to 5, which gets them a Vampire. I am lucky, see my cargo ship early, and with enough money to put a Vampire into the cargo ship, I'll see that Vampire on turn 4. Here's 3 for my opponent. They get a cargo ship and they store it within the in-play cargo ship. My Vampire comes out, trashes one of my opponent's estate into a curse. That doesn't matter. I buy a landing party and here I am going to gain an upgrade. Trashing is going to be important. Here's my opponent's second cargo ship. We knew that was in hand, and that allows them to store an upgrade into that second cargo ship. Landing party is still in play for them, unable to top deck it yet, and I go ahead and get a second cargo ship myself. My opponent upgrades an estate into an Oasis this time, not another cargo ship. They don't have any plus actions, so it makes sense to include the non-terminal card there. And on 4, they buy a Herald. Here I have 4, but I am just going to play 3 coins. I'm just going to play 3 coins because I want to trash 2 cards to the bat. And on my 3, I'm going to buy an Artist. This will help me draw cards and get me closer to the Populate. Artist is by far the most powerful draw card in the kingdom. As a rule of thumb, buy the most powerful draw cards in the kingdom, good things will happen. There's another reason for buying the Artist now, and I will show you on my next turn. First, let's see what my opponent gets up to. They trash a curse, and they buy an Artist as well. That goes into their cargo ship. They will see it on their next turn, and in play, they already have a landing party and a cargo ship. So their Artist is guaranteed to draw 3 cards. I may have something similar. For sure, I'll have a landing party in play. We'll see when we draw the Artist. But so far, the way we've built as well, our deck mostly includes singletons. Sure, we have 2 cargo ships, but only one goes into play at that time. My opponent has the 1 artist. They have a couple upgrades. An Oasis, a Herald, the 1 landing party is in play. Similarly, I have just 1 landing party. 1 cargo ship will be in play at a time, 1 upgrade. So we've sort of made our decks ready for big draw from the artist. And I see mines early. This will draw 4 cards for me. Get the cargo ship in play first, so that when I upgrade this estate, the Oasis goes into the cargo ship, and I do draw the 4 cards from the artist. Lucky draw for me to see the artist off the top like that. On 4, I considered a Herald there because of the singleton, but I much rather have the draw extra 2 cards, guaranteed 2 cards from the landing party in an effort to get to populate before my opponent. Here's one of my opponent's upgrades. They get rid of their last estate for a silver this time. Again, that is with an eye towards populate. Their artist draws 4 cards. Upgrade again trashes. Here's their cargo ship. They're going to pay off debt right now. 3 debt, and I believe they have more coppers in hand, but the bat is in hand as well, so they have to think about how much they want to trash. With 3, they go for another artist. I don't like the second artist. If I could avoid the second artist, I would. I'd much rather gain artists via populate rather than put myself in so much debt here. I think I needed to do it on the first one. However, I think only 1 is needed to hit 10 for populate here. We'll see how it pans out. This is a race to populate now. My opponent also gets to store the artist into the cargo ship. However, because they are in debt, I know they're not getting to populate next turn. Here I have 7. You might think expand is the play here. However, expand does not help you get to populate. Destrias do. Destria helps me to draw more cards. More cards in hand means I'm closer to getting to 10 before my opponent. Not only that, I'm able to put one of the Destrias into the cargo ship. Vampire will go ahead and also gain another Destria for me. Apologies for the skip, but that was the end of my turn. Over to my opponent now. We know the artist is in hand. We'll see how many cards that artist draws. Here's the Herald, the Singleton Herald. Singleton Oasis. Is there an upgrade as well? Singletee. Yeah, there's the upgrade. Artist draws the deck. Brilliant card. Absolutely worth the money. However, no danger of populate right now from my opponent. No danger. In fact, a bit of overdraw actually, because they have 2 artists, right? But only 1 is in play. They didn't need the second one. Pay off the debt. My Hex makes it a little bit worse for them, but I don't think so much worse that it was going to affect their turn significantly. We get -2, and my opponent cleverly gains the only plus buy in the kingdom here, a Cauldron. This is not aimed at attacking me. This is aimed at having a plus buy to gain more cards. I have a good hand here, and I'm feeling confident about my ability to get to 10. Let's see. We have a Destria to lead off. Then we play the upgrade, keeping singletons in play to maximize the draw from the artist. I gain a silver to get closer to 10. Artist draws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards and gives you a plus action. This is brilliant. This is on the order of Scrying Pool in some games. We did miss the Singleton Oasis though. Here I'm trying to see if I can avoid playing the landing party. And I can actually. It does mean I will trash 1 less card, but with the amount of draw that's coming into the deck here, I don't mind a slightly bigger deck. So we'll get to 10 first before our opponent, and we will populate. Not only that, we will be able to put an artist into the cargo ship. I should have clicked the artist first here, but we'll get there eventually. And the bat will trash 1 copper for me. So we have an extra upgrade. We have an extra expand. I'm most excited about the expand. And we have an extra artist now. Brilliant turn. And we're not in debt. I expect my opponent to get to 10 here though. They get rid of one of their upgrades for gold. I don't like getting rid of the upgrades from the deck. I see long-term potential for the upgrades. Look at this kingdom. You could go straight from estate to province if you have enough upgrade plays. There's 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, and an 8. Maybe they need the money. Maybe they need the gold. We'll see here. Turns out they didn't need the gold. They go for a populate. We will get a curse off the cauldron, and my opponent somehow here does not use their second buy. I thought for sure this would have been a Destria, but maybe they forgot about it. Trashes a couple cards, and they get the vampire back, passes it back to me now. So here I do trash one of my 4 costs, the Herald, for a cauldron. The cauldron represents extra Destrias. And drawing the rest of the deck here is trivial at this point. I'm trying as best as possible to not play the landing parties. However, I think I have to play them in order to go to the end of the deck. I expand one of my silvers into another cauldron. More Destrias. Sure, it's more curses for my opponent, but they could clean that up, no problem. This artist was at the bottom of the deck, unfortunately, which is why I had to play those spare landing parties. And now it's not really necessary. Oasis, and we get 2 cargo ships in place, so we'll be able to store 2 action cards, one of which is definitely an artist, and the other one is going to be more draw in the form of a Destria. My opponent gets 2 curses, and I am going to pick up, could be 2 Destrias here, but I am going to get a second vampire just for the extra gain, and also so that I'm always threatening to have a vampire gain every turn. We're quickly approaching the endgame. These piles are evaporating, especially with all the extra gain that we are putting into our deck via the populate. There are just 3 Destrias left. Those prices drop very quickly. 3 cargo ships are left, and there's upgrades around to increase your gain potential. Okay, let's see what my opponent gets up to. Will they populate or will they go for points? That is the main question here, I believe. Will they increase their gain capacity? They trash another upgrade into gold. So they're increasing their economic output, their coin output. They actually wanted to undo, not that in particular, but they trash a landing party instead into a cauldron. They preserve their upgrade, which I much prefer. Here comes the artist to draw, I don't know, 7 cards. That's so good. That's such a good card. Artist is one of the best cards from the new set. Here's the second upgrade for my opponent. They get rid of one of their cargo ships for more draw via a landing party, not a herald. Here's an Oasis. They probably could draw the whole deck. They definitely have another artist in hand. Here's their expand. Sorry for the skipper again there. They expand, turn that curse into a silver, and they were able to draw everything up. How much money do they have now? 16 and 3 buys. Is it going to be another populate play? No. My opponent has decided to go for the end game. So there's our province. There's our second province. All right. And unfortunately, they don't have enough money for Destria, but they can gain it with the vampire if they want. This curse doesn't, this hex, sorry, doesn't hurt. Just top deck a silver. So much draw in the deck, nobody cares if you go -1 on your hand size. And they don't gain the Destria, they gain the landing party instead. So piles are thin, 2 landing parties, 3 Destrias. Curses might run, depending on how many cauldrons people have in play. And I am at a points deficit, so we have to rectify that as soon as possible. Unfortunately, now I have 2 landing parties and 2 cargo ships in play, so they don't count towards the draw count for artist, but that's fine. We have a lot of Destrias to compensate for that. Oasis goes into play first. This artist isn't great, just draws, what, 1, 2, 3 cards, but I don't really need it to do much better than that. Now I offload a bunch of my Destrias. I'm really looking for plus action here so I could get this expand into play and then draw whatever I expand into. Here, upgrade first, I think about getting rid of the Oasis, but instead I choose to get rid of the expand for a province. I don't like that. I don't like upgrading my expand into province on this turn. I think that's something you do when you're trying to end the game, and I don't think I could end the game here. I didn't count carefully if I could end the game here, but it seemed like it was out of reach just from, the vibes. You know how there's vibe coding, there's vibe dominion too. Artist again, Destria. Landing party, Destrias will get me through until the end of the deck here. Here's my second expand. What do I want to do with it? I'm not entirely sure. Herald finds me my upgrade. That's fine. I have most of the deck in hand. I choose to get rid of an Oasis for a Herald here. I get the Herald over the landing party because I don't want to open up pileouts for my opponent. It's not clear to me what they could do, actually. Upgrade again. Gets not a Herald, this time a Destria. And 2 cargo ships go into play. Here's an expand. What do we expand? Silver into Duchy. We're going for max points here. This is our second province for the turn for me. Another Duchy. And this vampire will probably gain a Duchy. I buy 1 Destria to land some curses. Also gives me additional draw. Bat trashes the curse from my hand. Much rather trash the curses with the bat rather than the upgrade. Bat can't gain provinces, but upgrade can. This Hex is one of the better ones. Again, with the amount of draw in my opponent's deck, I don't know how consequential this is. And we will go ahead and gain another Duchy. I think my opponent cannot gain 4 provinces. They have enough money. They've shown for 2. And I know they have a single expand. That represents 3 provinces in my mind. I don't see where the 4th one is coming from. So I think I'm fine here to not lose. We'll see if my opponent can make things uncomfortable for me on their turn. Alright, some landing parties come out. 1 Destria, 1 Herald. Looks like you're setting up for an artist. 1 expand. So that's the 1 expand. We'll see what they do with it. Is it for points or is it for something else? This is a critical gain. Trashes a bat for a cauldron. Okay. That's not a gain of points. It might give me an extra curse, but it is not a province gain. Alright. There are 4 curses left. Here's an upgrade. Another critical gain. Oasis into landing party. Nothing for points there for me. Okay, the whole deck is drawn. What do you have now, singletee? They spent quite a bit of time on this turn, trying to puzzle out if they had a win. There's 1 Destria, 1 landing party, 4 curses left, 2 of which will go into my deck via the cauldrons they have. However, they need to overcome the points deficit. I have a 10-point advantage. After the 2 curses come into my deck, that's an 8-point advantage. So they need province, duchy, alongside 2 curses. That doesn't even work, actually. They need a lot. They need a lot. And eventually, they were not able to find a solution. I don't know their hand, so I don't know if there was a solution. They give up on winning on this turn and decide to try to score some points. One of the landing parties gets turned into a duchy. And on 17, triple duchy is uncomfortable. That is way too easy for me to end the game with just 1 Destria, 1 landing party, and 1 duchy left. Right now I have, well, I had actually, they gain a province here. And they actually gain a 2nd province. I could get behind the 1st province, triple province. Maybe I stall and I can't get to triple province. Double province is much easier than triple province for me, I think. Just have to expand once and have enough money in hand. But they go for the double province play, hoping that I stall, obviously. They will not buy the Destria, I imagine. No, they will, because if I could get double province, I could probably get double province Destria. Yeah, there goes the Destria, which I think is the right call. That goes into the cargo ship. And they get an artist just to land curses into my deck. The curses don't matter, because they don't affect the score in a meaningful way. I just need the 2 provinces to win, or I just need the last landing party and to dump some curses into my opponent's deck via cauldron and a duchy or 2, and I win as well. They're just what, 8 points ahead, so that's trivial. We'll see what the deck has in store for us, though. We've been burned before. Here's one Destria, one Oasis. Looking for the artist. We don't find the artist. Still no artist. Where's the artist? Last Destria. Okay, Herald, find artist. Can you? Okay, there's an artist. All right. Okay. Okay. Do we have it? We almost have it. And it should be here just about now. We can upgrade the expand into province. And then we have enough money. Yeah, we definitely have it here. Okay, great. So we win this game and we actually win the entire match. Our season finishes with us in, well, let me show you till the end of the deck, till the end of the game here before I talk about the season's performance. So we win the match and our season ended up with us in 3rd place, a little bit above 50%. Not great, not the worst, not the best. I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.